Good evening and welcome to Jazz Lovers Television Network. Today it is Sunday, October 25th. Wherever you are, it is a good evening, good morning, or good afternoon. We are worldwide. Today, we have people in Monamotapa, South Africa. We've got people in Zambia. We've got the United States present, and I am broadcasting from Zurich, Switzerland. Today we have a great show. It's I Found My Voice by Van Miller, except Van Miller is doing her movie thing, her Hollywood movie thing. She's on set, so she left us with the show today. Um, we have Makakuva as always, my host and co-host, CEO and founder of the World Media Coalition, Jazz Lovers Television Network, stakeholders, uh, self-perpetuating business model. And today we have special guest, Princess of Monamotapa, Princess Tshepi. She'll be with us on the show. And we have Tiah Tomlin, who's also going to be with us today. I want to pass the mic over to Makakuva Ali El Bey so he can give us a few words before we start the show. And
good afternoon, good morning, good evening,
greetings.
good day. Uduma Akiyur, line of the new dawn. And I thank all of you for coming into the program today. I'm not as attractive as Van Miller, but I'm going to take her place. This is her show. And to give you a brief on how this show developed, Van and I did a show at the Theater in the Square in Marietta. It was the first Jazz Lovers television production with Jerry and Dixon. And unfortunately, he hasn't been able to come on just yet. He's a saxophonist. But in any event, I told Van, I said, come on to the theater. And when you get in the room, I'm gonna put you on the mic. So when she came in, I called her on stage, and it wasn't hard to find her because there were only 6 people in the audience, 7 people in the audience, so, which was cool. In any event, I brought her on stage and she and I got to talking, and she was telling me that at 60 years old, she was able to begin to voice her inner spirit. And people said to her, well, Van, you always had a voice. And she said, no, I'm talking from my spirit now, from my soul. And I said, Van, that's the name of your talk show. And that's how this show developed. The Van Miller Talk Show, I Found My Voice. And as I said, I'm not Van today. We're sitting in for her, but she's on a set. She's a world-renowned fashion designer, and she's a wardrobe coordinator for today's movie that she's working on. And I'm not going to say the name of the movie, but when it comes out, I'll let you know. And as Ahmad said, thank you, Ahmad, this is the World Media Coalition Jazz Lovers Television Network. And this particular production is primarily the Jazz Lovers Television Network, because the World Media Coalition Jazz Lovers Television Network is actually 2 separate broadcast entities. And it's based upon our broadcast platform, which is news, business, arts, culture, and entertainment. The type of entertainment that the Jazz Lovers Television Network deals with is consciousness-raising entertainment, consciousness with the K. Our productions aren't geared toward the type of entertainment that you see on VH1, BET, Tyler Perry, or any of those other networks that really don't provide the cultural consciousness uplifting type of entertainment that the Jazz Lovers Television Network seeks to bring to our worldwide audience. So news business is handled by the World Media Coalition. The arts, culture, and entertainment is handled by the Jazz Lovers Television Network. So the Jazz Lovers Television Network is a subscription-based stakeholder marketing concept, which leads itself to the business model, which is a self-perpetuating, revenue-generating business model. And I got to give you some background on that concept because it's very significant. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to sit in on another Zoom television production that Ahmad had organized with, what was the name of the group, Ahmad?
Interconnected Justice with Bishop Joseph Talton.
Interconnected Justice. And the production was very, very significant because it garnered viewers from Uganda, the Congo, Rwanda, Haiti, Switzerland, the United States. And one of the things that struck me very significant about that was when they did a presentation on the coronavirus in Haiti. Here are the numbers for the coronavirus in Haiti. A little under 9,000 cases and 231 people have passed away. I'm gonna say that again. A little under 9,000 cases and 231 people have passed away. I spoke with the production supervisor, and he's gonna give us a copy of that to post it on our YouTube channel. Our YouTube channel is not our main focus. As things move forward, World Media Coalition Jazz Lovers Television Network will be able to get its own broadcast platform, 16 channels with Raul Thomas coming out of the Theater in the Square, so that our productions will be solely on our platform. So the subscription-based stakeholder marketing concept is this. Prior to launching, I'm looking to launch in June of 2021. Prior to launching, the pre-launch subscription rate is $9.95. And that's for life.
Push it over here.
Everybody has a subscription for television around the world. And you're being sucked of your revenue for 200 or 300 channels, and you only watch about 50, if that many. The Jazz Lovers Television Network subscription-based stakeholder marketing concept is this: $9.95 for life pre-launch. As a subscriber, the stakeholder status comes in this way. You're watching television, you like the productions, you like the quality. Remember now, we're going on to our own platform. So the YouTube channel is not all these productions here. This is dress rehearsal, people. What we do on a dress rehearsal, unscripted, unrehearsed, one take, to develop the proficiency. So now, $9.95 a month for life. You invite people to subscribe. Your stakeholder payout is a $2 commission for life per month, as long as people hold their subscription. What does that do? Well, think about what it can do for our people on the continent. Think about what it can do for our people anywhere in the world if they can generate an extra $300, $500, $700, $900, $1,000 a month for life. It has the impact of raising the wealth base in our community, raising the standard of living in our community. You get 1 million people paying you $9.95 a month for life. Out of that, you get your stakeholder payout. All that revenue comes into the network so that our productions can continue. You also have the ability to submit a production concept. Once it's accepted, and you begin to put money into producing it, the network will match every dollar you put in. You're not going to get that from the mainstream media. All you're going to get from the mainstream media is if you don't pay, you'll get cut off. You'll get cut off. This is not about Makakuvu getting rich. This is about being able to put money in the pockets of people who have children so they can put food on the table and a roof over their head. That's what this is about. And as this grows out, the Jazz Lovers Television Network, World Media Coalition is going to build in. It's going to build in health insurance for all of our subscribers. That's what this is about. I want to welcome you to our production, and I'd like to have the opportunity to have Her Royal Highness Princess Tshepi introduce herself, and then have Tiah Tomlin introduce herself, and Brother Gregory, and am I getting that right? Am I saying your name right? Is it Gregory? Is that Brother Ramusi? Is that the brother? Anyway, introduce yourselves, please.
Right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Makakubu. Thank you very much. Ahmed, thank you very much. And thanks to all our guests. I think I'm a guest, but now this is now my home since we have been doing this family do for some few months now. So it's really a pleasure to be here today. It is Princess Tshepi from South Africa. Makakubu says we are from Monamotapa. I'm still following up on that name to hear. Some they saying that is Zimbabwe, but we are still trying to, I'm still trying to just research more on it. And thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Makakubu, and thank you, Ahmad, for allowing me to be here today. My name is Tiah Tomlin. I am a breast cancer survivor of triple-negative breast cancer. I'm also the founder of My Breast Years Ahead and the founder or co-founder of My Style Matters, which is a nonprofit organization that provides support to cancer patients living in the greater Atlanta area. So I'm excited to be here today. Thank you.
Thank you for being on the production. Thank you so much. Could the brother introduce himself, please? Am I saying it right? I can.
Yes,
Go ahead.
Prince.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Yes, Prince Mutibi, over to you, sir.
Hi, good evening. It's Mutibi Ramusi from South Africa. I am a telecommunication engineer by profession. I currently work for an institute in South Africa called the National Lotteries Commission as a Chief Information Officer. And I'm looking forward to our discussions tonight. Thank you very much, Princess. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I'd like to open up with Tiah and talk to us about what your projects are, what you're doing now, and the effort that you put in to be where you are today. And I really appreciate you being on our production today. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, wow. It's so much going on. You know, October in the US is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And so we had so much going on this month. We currently have a program that we've rolled out called Breast Health Matters. And it's our way of educating our community around breast health. You know, Black women in particular are 40% more likely to die from this disease. And one of the concerns that I've had with the disparities, I mean, it's so many, you know, if we look at the statistics around Black women and breast cancer, you see, you know, Black women are more likely to be diagnosed with the more aggressive forms of breast cancer. And, you know, we're getting younger. Under the ages of 35, Black women are 2 times more likely to be diagnosed and 3 times more likely to die from this disease. And, you know, when it comes to the cancer coming back or a recurrence, we're 39% more likely to have a recurrence, whereas the average woman is 20 to 30%. So when you look at these disparities, you know, it's really alarming and it's disheartening that this is happening in our community. And so what we've done is we've launched a program called Breast Health Matters, and that's to really educate us about breast health, breast cancer, highlighting Black breast cancer, and also teaching women how to do self-breast exams. And we're also doing have an initiative alongside with that called Hey Girl, Hey Parties. It's where it's more intimate, where you can get you and a few of your friends, your girlfriends together. And let's talk about this. We educate them about breast health and, again, Black breast cancer. And we do it in a meaningful and fun kind of way. We also talk about the things that are causing breast cancer in terms of environmental factors. In particular, you look at the cosmetic industry. Unfortunately, we are being targeted as Black women. And so a lot of our products that we're using on a day-to-day basis really has a lot of carcinogens in it. It has toxins in it. And so that's what we try to do, is educate from young girls. We start in the middle school ages on up to adult women. And so that's one of the biggest projects that we have going on. As a matter of fact, next Saturday, at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, we have partnered with Bedroom Candy, independent consultants, one of the top team leads, the Diamond team lead, Frida Hobbs, and we're actually going to be hosting a session called Protect Your Sexy. And it's all about educating women on, again, breast cancer, breast health, because we as women, we talk about everything under the sun, everything, but our breast health. And that is the one thing that's really taken us out. And so now it's time to have the conversation. We make songs about everything else, but again, we don't talk about it. And so that's kind of the big thing that we have going on now. We're also offering what we call Food to Fight boxes. We partner with Eat Right Atlanta, and we're giving away produce, healthy food for people who are actually battling cancer, because our goal is really to educate them on making healthier choices to have better outcomes, to help have better outcomes. And so that's really what we have going on at this moment, in addition to like our standard programs in terms of financial resources, hand-holding support with women. It's really, I'm excited to be able to do these things. Like I said, what really stemmed or pushed me to do this is my own diagnosis, going through my own cancer journey, seeing the gaps in supportive services, seeing the gaps in the conversations that doctors are or not having with us. I said, I got to be a part of the solution. God didn't bring me out of this or through this for me not to go back and help other women and men, especially Black men, because Black men get breast cancer too. And we don't talk about, men don't really talk about their health. There's a lot of pride there. And so, whatever I can do to help and support, in particular our community, that's what I feel as though I'm called to do. So thank you.
Well, thank the Most High, because your story is very significant. And listening to you, as a woman, your breasts are very important, because women use their breasts to feed the children.
Yeah.
And to have our women targeted by industry, even though it may be the makeup industry or even the medical industry, is sacrilegious as far as I'm concerned. But more importantly, as subjects in an environment where our people are descendants of our ancestors being enslaved, it really speaks to more about the continued condition of our enslavement. And I'd like to have you and Princess Tshepi engage in some dialogue, because she has a lot of things that are happening where she is. And I'm glad she mentioned that she's researching Monamotapa for me, because that's a term I came upon about 30 years ago. And I've never heard anybody use it other than the first time it came upon me. But the dialogue between you and Princess Tshepi would be very important for us to hear, particularly once you hear some of the things that she's doing, because breast cancer is a worldwide disease.
Yeah.
And her work is very important. And I'm glad that the two of you are here today to meet and interact. So Princess Tshepi, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Makakubu. Thank you, Tiah. Just know that we are very supportive of you. We love you. And that is a very touching story, and it is indeed the story of women across the globe that we hear. But my interest, as Makakubu has mentioned, is we can find efforts where we do such events on online where we are fundraising, so that you can, while you are building those on the other side. I work a lot with the women in the rural areas. I'm not sure about the setup in America, but we have our rural areas where you find that the level of education is not as equal as in the urban areas. And therefore, what it means then is that we don't understand our women health or women issues equally as it will be required. And then also recently I've been appointed as the United Nations Goodwill Ambassador. So that then it means we are working with Ambassador Andrew from there, who's also a friend to Makakubu. That's how we met. So we are working on the Sustainable Development Goals, all 17 of them, but then mine, the number 17, and then the issues of women, the issues of education is really what my organization does. I have Future Lift, which is a nonprofit making organization. We do business management skills development. In that, it then encompasses everything. Soon we will also be launching the health and safety training, where we will be also training them, and this is part, women health is part of one of those trainings and one of those issues that are not spoken about. You are correctly so. Around 2016, I think I was also diagnosed with fibroids. And then I even researched more. I found white dress, which is America-based. I don't know if you've heard about it. And as you were saying, I found the gaps that really there wasn't much help that I could get. And I've had to research and find how can we help all other women, so that this is the topic that is not shied away from, so that we can help others. And you find that really there's majority of Black women, they also suffer from fibroids. Others, they cannot even bear children. And then even as we are African people, sometimes we have labels for those women that cannot bear children, but we don't quite understand as to why and what happened, and so that we can help them, because it is about the women health. So we will have these dialogues, and we will continue, because that's what I'm envisaging, that we would like to build the hospitals or the clinics that are going to be focusing on women health. And then what I wanted to know from you, Tiah, on your collaborations, on the efforts that you're doing, do you have doctors that are working with you? Because it's very helpful when we have the voice of the doctors, when we have them, when we have their collaboration as well, because we found that when we were now doing the campaign for fibroids, we had our gynecologists that were even at the workshops where women were gathering, they would give the services for free to do the testing, the pap smear. Do you have doctors that you are working with, particularly?
Yeah, so we have several doctors that we have relationships with, that we will reach out to should we need some assistance, or we want to host a workshop and on a particular topic. We work with both conventional doctors as well as non-conventional doctors. As a matter of fact, on our board, we do have someone from the CDC that's on our board who focuses in on breast health. So that's really, a great thing for us to be able to bring that to the table. So I think it is important for people to not only hear the voice of the doctors, but also hear the voice of the patients, because it's really different, right? So when you're talking to someone who has the clinical knowledge, but not necessarily the personal experience, right? When you look at a patient, we have our PhDs as well, because we have, experience in our own health disease. And so it's really important to, I feel as though, for both voices to be heard, because I can speak to, especially being a Black woman, we don't participate in clinical trials. And so a lot of the data that's coming out, or the drugs that's coming to market, they don't have enough research on Black people. And so one of the things I always say is, how can we say that drugs are truly successful and, they're really great, if it's not great for all people, if we're, less than 1% participating in a particular clinical trial. So I think it's important to hear both. And so we do bring doctors, both holistic as well as conventional doctors, to the table for everyone to just be educated and know that they have different options.
Absolutely. That is wonderful, and I agree. What we are now embarking on here back home, I would say back home in Africa, is that we really are now focusing on our indigenous medicine, our plants. You have seen, that is why I think even Corona, I think in South Africa and Nigeria, we were the only highly affected regions. But the rest of Africa really, it was quite minimal. And even as we were locked down, we found that, because now we had to go back in our homes, we have our food gardens. So we have found that the lesser we take of takeaways, or let's say the larger or the majority of time where we focus on our vegetables, our fruits, eating our indigenous food, taking our indigenous medicine, things that we grew up with. Luckily for us, we grew up with our grandmothers that knew what to mix, what to take for everything. So we are really focusing on going back on such, and it is a focus. And also we found that there are your doctors, your scientists that are working with us. It's just that they will be wanting to say, has it passed the test? And then sometimes we can't wait for that. We just continue, because this is how we know that our grandmothers have managed to live for 100 years, 124 years. Others are still living at 95. I have my grandmother who's 95, and he does not wear specs. I wear specs, and she doesn't. She still does the activities of daily activities in the rural, which is what we lack once we get into the urban. We are doing everything sitting down, but then we grew up knowing that the body has to be active. You are eating everything from the soil as well, and connecting to the soil, because that's where we come from. So it will be great experience as we continuously speak, and as to find out how do we fight this disease, and how do we overcome, and from different angles, isn't it? If we can identify the enemy, we are able to gather our weapons all together.
No, I totally agree. One of the things in our community, especially in the US, we have gotten away from those things. Life has gotten busy, especially for Black women, right? We hold so much on our shoulders. We're, working, we're being moms, we have a lot going on, and we really encourage people being a boss. You may hear that term, be a boss, be a boss. And I always say, yeah, but at what cost? To really work, to really grind really hard, but it puts a lot of stress and pressures on us that we don't eat healthy. We don't take time to educate ourselves on making healthier choices. Some of us may be in the gym, they say, fitness is the new Black, but it's more than just working out, right? It's also the components of what you're putting in your body and what you're putting on your body. And then the stress, the mental health is really big. So I commend what you all are doing in Africa to really just hone back in on, the indigenous, and making sure that we really understand, the foods that we eat, natural foods, things that are organic, things are non-GMO, because now those things are being pushed, and a lot of us are, while we say we're eating healthy, well, if it's GMO and it's heavily sprayed with pesticides, are you really eating healthy? And so we really need to think about that. And again, going back to educating, how can we, lower our risk? Because according to American Cancer Society, 42% of the diagnosis and 45% of the deaths could have been prevented just by changing, modifiable lifestyle. You modifying your lifestyle can lower your risk. And so I think this is really great at what you're doing. And that's why we're providing the food to fight boxes. Even if people are going through, how can we help you to continue to fight against it, versus you undergoing your treatments or taking medication and you're still fueling it with, with unhealthy lifestyles, eating sugar, eating fats, unhealthy fats, and things of that nature. So yes, that is so important.
Yeah, that is a very vital topic. I don't know if Brother Mwansa is there. He usually comes to South Africa, and he would visit me here. He saw how I was trying, and within all that busyness, as you were saying. So I planted tomatoes. They took 5 months, something that should be taking 2-3 weeks, but I was not giving up. Even now, I still, try. And now at least I'm no longer having to be traveling and all this. So now you can give it attention. he's very good. He's got green hands. I don't know why is he not there. He's got green hands. He does that, and he's been living. And actually, he's a vegetarian himself. I learned even from him when he visits us. He has to eat gluten-free food. So I learned that you can have proper meal and actually live without any meat, without any bread, without much of the things, and how he makes his oil that without the fat that we are taking. But his meals are actually delicious and you know, enjoyable. So then that's how we learn when we meet such people to say, oh, it is possible, really. And then also just drinking water. That one we have learned that we take water, because like now it is hot. It is hot today. We are now into our summer. It's so hot. So we drink water. And then, as I said, that in the rural area, some of the things is because they don't have that luxury of the money. So the life that they know, it is the life of nature. It is the life of drinking waters. And we drink a lot of well water from the well. Don't know if you've heard. And it is just as healthy. So it's a topic that we all need to fight together.
Yeah.
Thank you, Tiah.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to say, and even in, you know, where we live in the States, you know, we have rural areas that don't have access, you know, and right now with COVID, one of the things that people are really challenged with COVID is now we're going to telemedicine, like being able to use technology to talk to your doctors. Well, not everybody has access to the technology. And so that's even another barrier that's going to create a even wider gap for people, Black people in particular, or people in the rural communities and their health. So this is definitely something that we just have to continue to have the conversation around and just educate our community and look for partners in how we can continue to help our communities that we serve.
That is true. That is true. All right. Any other questions before I move to my topic? Maybe I can open the floor for other people to add. Please feel free, good people. We are family.
I'd like to add something right quick. 3 things. Number one, listening to the women is very important, because the woman is the mother of the nation. When you lift the woman, you raise the nation. And what does that mean? That means the woman bears forth the child, and the child is the nation. So many of us walk around carrying the Ankh. And the Ankh is one of our most sacred spiritual symbols. So the Ankh, the structure of the Ankh is very important. The structure of the Ankh is very important because the Ankh, Ahmad, can you put me on the screen, please?
You are.
I am?
Yes.
Okay. Y'all can see me? Okay, good.
Yes, you are. We can see your new t-shirt.
Okay. The Ankh, the structure of the Ankh, this is the male. And where is the male? This is the woman. The male is underneath the woman. This is the ovaries or the children. So both of these are at the top. The woman is the mother of the nation. When you lift the woman, you raise the nation. So hearing you is very important because the breasts feed the children of the nation. You also mentioned water. This bottle is made by a friend of mine, and it's blue crystal. This is made by a brother named Hank Risingson, an indigenous. This bottle, when you put water in it, it alkalines the water. So when you drink it, you're drinking alkaline water. So I'm going to leave you with his phone number, 718-930-0516, 718-930-0516. It's a blue quartz water bottle. When you drink this, you put the water in it, you drink it, you're drinking alkaline water. which helps to hydrate your molecular and cellular structure for better health. I just wanted to add that because the voices that we hear, and I found my voice from you women, you sisters, you Sutunet, you queens, is very important. Thank you. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you, Makakubu. And what is also important is the support of our fathers, of our brothers, of our men, Makakubu. So that this is a topic that we can all engage in. That support is probably, Tiah, you will agree that the healing journey, it's also encouraged and helped when the whole family, and if you are a person who already has a partner, if that is a topic that we can easily engage in, and if they can find out how can I help, it is important that we all come together and understand and support. Supportiveness is important. And we are saying the now generation of our males, of our men, let them be different men that are not afraid to speak their health issues, to speak the support, to be supportive of their women, because who else? We know each other, we are here with each other. We can't work in silos, we can't be separated. All throughout, we need to be supported as well.
Yes, I definitely agree with that, 100%. And another thing, you know, since we're talking about men, oftentimes the men find the cancer in their women. You know, because if women are not doing self-breast exams, if women are not familiar with their bodies, and their husbands or partners are the ones in, you know, during intimacy are the ones that's actually touching their bodies, a lot of times the men will be the ones to find a lump. So I really think too that we need to educate our men about being more conscious and aware of the woman's body. So in the event that they are in a situation with a woman, you know, they're intimate or what have you, or they notice something, because we're not talking about breast health, we're not teaching women about self-breast exams. There was actually a study that was done by the Ad Council, and they asked some questions to Black women. It was 810 Black women, and they asked them about, you know, do you think that breast health matters and it's important? 92% of those women said yes. Then they asked the question of, are you taking action to, you know, have conversations with your family, friends? 25% of those women said yes, and only 17% were taking action. So that says to me that women are not really in tune with their own bodies. You know, we're not teaching us to touch our bodies. So men, we really need you all to step up and be our allies and be our advocates, and really, you know, if you're intimate with a woman, don't just be intimate with her for the sake of being intimate, but get to know her body as well. And also encourage her to do self-breast exams. You know, let her know that she is important, and you know the stats around, you know, breast cancer, and in particular Black breast cancer. Really encourage her, you know, to really take control of her health. So we need you, men. We can't do this thing called life without you. So.
Understood. That's a great point. I really appreciate that perspective. Us as a people, we need to start physically taking care of each other, especially when it comes to our health. You know, that's a very, 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 very good point.
Yes, it is. I'd like to also add, I just got a text from one of our guests who was supposed to be on today, Osette Marie Amen. She just texted me, she's ill today. And she too is suffering from breast cancer. And she's ill today. That's why she couldn't come on. And so I just texted her back a healing, but to hear that she is not able to come on, knowing that she too is currently fighting with that illness, really kind of drives home the point of this entire discussion. Thank you.
Indeed.
Yeah, I think, Princess, it's Motibi here. I think just to add on, having introduced myself that I come from the telecommunication and ICT background, I think awareness becomes very important, because we need to take advantage of all the social media platforms that are available to talk about how we can assist each other, because based on our experiences, I think it's quite clear nowadays in the world that if we start sharing our own observation, we can minimize lots of the unknowns. So yeah, I think from our sector, there's a role that we play just to make sure that we avail those platforms, similar to what we're doing today within Zoom. Thanks, Princess.
And I would add this too. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm glad because Makakubu, you heard this is a man who will connect. I had also invited another lady who's in the filmmaking. So with Prince Mutibi, we can do a lot. We can connect. We can be able to really take it further. We spoke earlier on, Tiah. You spoke about the connectivity, the networks in the rural. We found that even now with the education, we were talking about the children's rights in September, and now with the lockdown, we found that some regions where really there is no connection, the schools came to halt because they don't have access, they don't have the network, they don't have all the resources or access, let's just say so, access to such. So with the participation and working together with Prince Mutibi here is going to help us a lot, even at the larger scale, because these are the things that we need the telecommunications people. We need, like now, we are using them, isn't it? It's them that are able to connect us like that to really bring the world, the globe into a village. And we are able to do even the concerts, the fashion shows, where we are able to mobilize and then be watching and be working towards the same cause while we are in different continents. And that is possible. Thank you so much for adding. And from here, the work has begun, Prince Mutibi.
Yeah. And let's not forget about the children, because, so when we think about breast cancer, there are what they call critical times of susceptibility, where because the breasts are so complex and our breast cells are so immature, the more exposures that you have to things like carcinogens or toxins, stress, what do they call it? The adverse childhood experiences, the higher their risk becomes of being diagnosed with breast cancer. And so wherever we are, we have to also be mindful of what we're sowing into our children, whether it's the food, whether it's things like cosmetics. People go to, here in the States, they may go to places like the dollar store or what have you and buy all this makeup and they give it to their children. But a lot of that stuff has, the carcinogens in it, or what they call xenoestrogens. And so having those things, putting it on your skin, you're absorbing it right into your skin, going into your bloodstream, and now it's in your body. And we're not doing anything around detoxing, and children aren't exercising like they used to anymore. And so now all the things that they're exposed to, you're starting to see younger girls and boys developing breasts at such a young age. Puberty is starting at such a young age, and we're asking the question, why? Well, it's because of all of these environmental exposures that they're experiencing that's, causing their estrogen levels to increase. And so we've got to really think about these things as, mothers and fathers, not just with us as an adults, but it's important in what we do with our children as well. So we really, again, got to wrap our arms around the community and just support one another, educate one another, and continue to love up on each other, because stress is real.
It's true. I concur completely. Even now, we needed each other more than ever. Now that we can't even hug, hugging human beings, we communicate, remember, with our hands, with our body. That is why when the eye just want to, we are communicating. So now we cannot even give each other love. We can hug, we can touch. It really has added the stress, let alone the pandemic itself. I usually say to people, even us here in Africa, we are communal people. That is why you find us in groups. We do church well, because we are people that are communal. We do gatherings very well. And now when you are saying, don't meet, we stay in houses, more than 5 of us. And we are in harmony, peacefully so, because of this. So now when you are saying, no, don't touch, don't speak, don't communicate, don't see each other, don't bury your own, it was quite stressful. It is true that stress on its own, it adds. So I know that we have taken your time, but it was necessary. Let me get into my topic, if it's okay with you. Is it fine?
No problem at all. Go ahead.
Right. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to connect from what Tiah has said, to say that finding our voices really is about helping yourself first, so that when your cup is full, you are able to help other people. So giving yourself that self-acceptance, self-love, you are able to identify those areas, as Tina said, and you are able to wake up your own encouragement as well. So to me, finding my voice was when I showed self-love, that I didn't expect somebody else to love me first. And then you have the self-love, you accept yourself, to really define it as to how does it look like, so that when somebody else comes into your space, you are able to define as to how do you want to be loved, how do you want to be respected, how do you want to be honored, because you have a voice. There's a difference, what I found, and as I was thinking and even just praying on this topic, is there is a difference between the noise and the voice. The voice is because it's that noise that has a meaning. So therefore, when you are saying now I have found my voice, is that you have found meaning of who you are. You are able to define those parts that are making you weak, and you are able to define those parts that are making you even stronger, and without feeling shy about it or without self-doubt. The second issue is self-acceptance. And once you self-accept, you accept yourself from the crown of your head down to the soles of your feet, with all the limbs that are unequal. And you just know that I will have two parts, but they are not similar, they are not equal. And it is okay, and being comfortable in your own skin, in being comfortable. I remember earlier on in my life, I really used to battle with the issue of my height. I think even now I still do, but now I can laugh about it. I never wanted to be found without shoes, because to me, shoes, they gave me height, they elevated me as though I was taller. But now as I grow maturer, I'm able to really accept myself and say, hey, this is my height, and I may as well just take pride in it. I'm the tallest in the room, if I am ever in the room. And remember, as you feel, and that's how it's going to exude, that's how it's going to show externally as well. And also finding our voices, it means you defining who you are, and you are defining from the internal voice. Makakubu mentioned a very important point right from the beginning of the show, to say it was when someone said that now she's speaking from the soul, from the spirit, that it was no longer from the external voices, but from that spirit that is within, that now they were defining, and they were now speaking, making meaning. It probably felt so aligned, it felt so in tune, it felt so good, because you just know that now I'm speaking, I'm reasoning from a very different space, but it is a peaceful space. It is a space that gives me confidence when you are speaking and defining all that you are from that space. And then you are able to minimize all the other voices, which are just noises from external. Anything that is a critique, you just know, and you are able to even say, where does that voice that is coming from external coming from? If it comes and it hurts you, you are able to interrogate within you without blocking it, to interrogate it and say, why does it hurt me? It's because there is somewhere in me that I haven't dealt with it, to bring peace into that area. And that is when you find your voice. You are so aligned that everything about you, it's so well defined, and it doesn't shock you anymore. I found that as we grow, as we mature, we come to that space. And also finding my voice, it is now finding my purpose, finding my gifts, and finding that I am a servant. So serving, and as I said so even earlier on, being of royal blood, it doesn't mean that it's just a title. It means we are born being known, being groomed to say you are serving, and without expecting anything back. So you serve, you just know that your gifts are of the servant, your demeanor, you are a person of authority, you are a person of influence. How you speak, it's going to affect people, so you are always mindful. How you advise, you are mindful of that. How you embrace or even reject other people, we are to be mindful of that. So it's not just a title, it's the lifestyle, it is the way of living, it is who we are. We don't have to be guided by the title, but it is how we live, that we already have found our voices. That voice gets instilled from early age. It gets drilled in. Sometimes even maybe Prince can say it becomes too hard, that you are thinking life as you are going to be living is a punishment, because it just becomes, the groom becomes too hard, and they will tell you there are things that you cannot do, there are things that you can do, and it's not a suggestion, it is an order, and you just have to live with it. You can't do anything else. But now you find later on in life that it was helpful, because it helped to groom and to shape who you are, to be able to define that voice, to be able to have your own revelation, to be able to stand even when the storms of life arrive, because you are so stronger internally, you are able to withstand and overcome. So through the giftings that we have, you are able to define them, and you are able to assertively know how you help, how you collaborate with others without competing. So it gives you that peace to say, this is what I can do, this is how far I can go. And also finding my voice, it says being able to map out my own vision, so that most of the time when we are still growing, working towards maturity, other people will want to use us for their own vision, will want to use us for their own objectives. But once you have found your voice, you find your vision, you find the purpose, you find why do you exist, and you walk in it so confidently, and you are able to voice it out, even if it makes you to be rejected. That rejection actually does not even affect you, because you know, I know I'm in the right space. I know this is my reality. You speak your reality without hurting others. That even if you can be standing alone, but you know it's your reality, and there is nothing else that you know, but this is it. And most of the time it does that. When you find your voice, you'll find that there will be some shedding of either people or even behaviors. Some things have to go. Some pruning has just to happen. And then I found that most of the time in life, we have people that we admire. Some we call them the mentors. And they, not everybody, but some you'll find they have their own weaknesses that they have not overcome, and it may pass on to the person that they are mentoring or coaching. Finding our own voices as well is just assertively defining our parameters. I was watching a video of Iyanla the other day where she was really defining what parameters, boundaries. So this topic then resonated so much. We battle most of the time to define those boundaries. And you find that we are tossed to and fro from everything as though we are leaves, because we have not defined, we have not made our voice to be heard. And we are still so reluctant to even tell a person that this I cannot take, this I can take. This, you will not speak to me in that manner. And this is how far we can go. And really, it does not break any friendship. But when you have found your voice, you define such things. We grow, and it's a journey of finding the voice. It's not something just you jump in it. It's not clothes, it's not washing that you can just put on, or even water that you can pour yourself and then you say, wow, I found my voice. But it's a journey, and we find this voice every stage of life. You find that it gets stronger and stronger up until it's able to nullify or minimize all the external voices, right? Are we still there? So also the other issue that I found in finding my voice is expressing my passion. How long do we live in life, or how many of us are living in life just existing without really, expressing and working and walking into your passion and being who you were created to be, and expressing it, whether somebody else thinks it's not going to work but what you know and what you are passionate about, expressing it and being loud about, being confident about it, and it will attract its own destiny helpers. It will attract other people that are coming, that are same-minded, like-minded, that are going to be helping that passion, what you have. And you don't even really need money sometimes to find your voice, just who you are. It is one of the gifts that we can give to ourselves as mankind. And part of it also, it helps us that whoever that is going to come into a space as you are growing them, because when we have now found our voices, we now know that actually I am born to be a leader. I'm born to be a person of influence. So therefore, when people come to me, how do I handle them? How do I speak to them? How do I nurture other lives, even if it's children? How do I nurture other lives? How do I nurture other people that are coming that are hurting? The decision-making element as well. When you have found your voice, you make a decision based on love instead of fear. So we battle with fear where we are tossed to and fro because of just fear. Fear will have such a louder voice that it will nullify or minimize the internal voice. But once you are able to work, it is a journey. You can never just overcome it and be able to stand and say, now fear, I don't want to hear you. Now love, I want you to deploy you. I want you to now engage you. And whether a person or whether they speak, and you will be able to identify and say, they are speaking out of fear, but because I reason out of love, so then that's when forgiveness comes in. That's when relationships will thrive. Relationships are not based on anything external or material, but it is purely on that mutual respect, that we are both here on the journey, but not to hurt each other, but other than that, to share, because it is not about what are you bringing and for me to just keep on taking, but it's about sharing. It's about knowing that when I engage with other people, this is how I will speak to them. This is how I want to be spoken to, and I will vocalize it, and I'll be able to express as such. And we express that love with the highest form. God says he is God and he lives in us and he is love. He's not fear, and he assures us. And then we are able to overcome what Tiah has said is important. It's because of that inner man that was so strong that you overcome the sicknesses and the illnesses, because what you speak, you know that my voice is stronger than the illness. The illness is in me, but it's not me. And therefore the illness will not define, or the illness will not overcome. But my voice is the voice of love, is the voice of health, is the voice of the spiritual voice that will be able to fight. And because the spirit is stronger than even the physical, right? I think for today, I have spoken. So I would like to just hear addition from the table, from the other people. We are all here. So I'm going to be listening. Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful.
Oh,
Yeah, thanks, Princess. It's Motivi here. Yeah, I think having listened to the intro, as you've put it very well, I can actually even share my own journey. In the African culture, my name is Motivi. Now, loosely translated, it's the defender. Now, you can imagine that there's an expectation that whatever one does must reflect who you are. Now, I think in the journey that I've seen in my career and in my life, I found myself having participated quite a lot in initiatives that are more looking forward to providing guidance, providing lots of awareness in everything aspect that people do within the environment. Now, if I take my career, as I said earlier on, as a systems engineer, I specialized in telecommunication, broadcasting, and satellite engineering. Now, if you look at those three fields of academia, there's quite a lot that one has to do in life. You interact with a number of people from young age to old. Now, you always listen to the voices. People want solution. People want efficiencies. People want effectiveness in whatever they do. I've listened to all these voices, and to a large extent, something drove my passion to an extent that what I'm doing currently, the organization that I'm working for, we're a regulator in the lottery sector. We actually allocate grants to non-profit organizations in the arts, and sports and recreation and charities. Now, you listen to some of the initiatives that communities talk to. Now, if I take my own career now, this is where now, listening to my own voice, I realized that quite a lot of things that we need to do in life, you need to have basic information. Now, we know that the current and the future, people talk about this fourth industrial revolution. Now, I know it's a big buzzword to many, but loosely translated, I mean, listening to the breast cancer stories, it's becoming important for people to collate information. If you have information that you can conduct statistics, you are able to predict and plan for the future. And that's basically where some of our skills are actually being requested. So the voice in me, with what I'm now doing lately, I've gone even beyond just doing a lot of telecommunication, is to say there are people that needs to be facilitated in terms of what they do in life. I need to assess your skills. I need to moderate whatever environment that you find yourself in. So the latest achievement, for example, having listened to myself, that I'm doing right now, I will be providing assessment and moderation to the young, to the old, in any field of their specialties. Now, if you look at media, multimedia, cybersecurity, I mean, because it's more closer to what I've studied and now I'm doing right now. There's a huge issue right now that we're talking now on Zoom. Most of what we really want to make sure is our information protected. As we are talking right now, is our identity secured? If somebody wants to steal this identity that we are seeing here, how can we protect that? So that's the importance then of having this kind of collaboration. So the voice, if you feel in you that you need to contribute, don't limit yourself. And I think, as I said, my name portrays that. I'm there to make sure that I defend, but with facts. And that will be my contribution as an opening for me. Thanks, Princess. Thank you.
Great. Great. Yes, Makaku.
Yes, I sent or said a healing prayer that I'd like to share with everyone. And I like to preface this with this. Healing is in 4 dimensions: spiritual, psychological, emotional, and physical. And in that regard, I'd like to share this with everyone. Monamotapa South Africa. That means through the manifestation of the Most High. I don't use the term blessing. I use the term Monamotapa South Africa, because a blessing is a manifestation of the grace and mercy of the Most High. So Monamotapa South Africa, Monamotapa South Africa, Monamotapa South Africa, through the grace and mercy of the Most High, Lion of the New Dawn, may the healing powers of the universe arise within you, arise within us, arise within our people, Udama Akayur, Lion of the New Dawn. I just want to share that. Doing the chair.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone who would like to add? We have Sister Palisa. Palisa? Kani? Where are the people?
I think she fell off.
All right. So that is, and to me, from me, that is it's been wonderful, and I found this topic, it also pulled out so much that I needed to work on, so much I needed to find, that I needed to go deeper, because that's actually what it was calling for. So it wasn't just to speak, but it was actually now to go deeper and do the self-analysis. And just to add, our Prince, we are still going to talk, you and I also am in the I work with women and youth, you heard, and also as the assessor and moderator. Facilitation has been, it's there as well. So we will be talking more, and lottery is, we love lottery. We love lottery. Anybody who comes from lottery, we love them. That's where our NPO spaces, they live better, when we have the funding from lottery. And actually, one is already ready. We were going to be submitting in April, when I think the deadline was postponed, and now the lockdown happened. So we are ready. Hey, Makaku, you heard the fundraising for all our projects is going to come better.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to close out shortly, but there are two things that Ahmad wants to share. One is his project in Brazil, and that's what this T-shirt is. This is my fashion statement today. This is Guerrero de Luz T-shirt. So it's my fashion statement. This is the project in Brazil, and these T-shirts are for sale. So if you want one, check with Ahmad. This is part of supporting his project, Guerrero de Luz, Warriors of Light. And then there's a video that I was sent, that I received from a colleague of mine from the African American Media Network. And the African American Media Network is the television network that I began working with as executive director. And it actually got me started in television production. I did not pursue this as a career. It just fell into my lap, like most things have fallen into my lap through the Most High and the guidance. So just being obedient to the Spirit, I picked up the mantle, and now am moving forward with 25 years in the industry, never having worked for mainstream media. And Brother Mtubi, am I saying your name correctly? I sent you a message, my email. I want you to contact me, very important about telecommunications, because there's a project coming down that I'd like to share with you. And this video that the African American Media Network sent to me from Andre is Guilty. Actually, Andre is 13 Guilty, who is the CEO of the African American Media Network and part of the Public Enemy tradition, talks about the Black Lives Matter boycott challenge. So Ahmad, let's start with Guerrero de Luz and then go to the challenge, and then we'll close out with a brief discussion. And again, thank you so much. And lastly, I gotta admit, listening to you, sisters, brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah, it was deep.
Thank you so much.
It was definitely deep.
Yes. Sorry, Amma.
No,
I
it's
forgot
okay.
to say, please send the love to the sister who is wonderful. What we do is that we usually speak in positives, because remember, our minds receives what we are saying. So when we say who's feeling wonderful, we know that is not well. Those that are around me, people of faith, they know the language. When we don't have much, we say it's plenty. Money is plenty. Do you have some? So that they know. So other people be looking. So we send our love. We send the higher vibration of healing. We say, may the God, the way she perceives him to be, touch him and manifest so highly. May her spirit be the one that rises above even cancer and touch there and heal herself. We have the healing power in us that we were born with it. It's all the circumstances of life that have quenched it. So if she goes deeper within, that is why our grandmothers knew no doctors, but they spoke, they touched us. And it is that touch of the innate nature of the human being connecting to the spirit within that the spirit will heal. And that is our prayer to her. So I'll follow up with you, Makakubu, and to hear as to how she is. And to you as well, my sister Tiah, what a wonderful speaker. And look how pretty you are. And usually people will say, you are the survivor, you're looking so pretty. And we know that there is ignorance. Don't ever let those words not hurt you. I know that people sometimes they speak out of ignorance, as if when you are sick now, you are supposed to be ugly, you know. Yeah. So you are a survivor indeed. And there is a reason why you survive. So there are many people, we say, out of your purpose, out of your what you have overcome, there is a whole tribe or a whole nation that is attached to your voice, of which they are waiting to heal because of your voice. So just your voice, just saying, I have overcome, is going to make them also to heal. And that's how we find our purpose. Our struggles, what we struggled with, was what has been our pain. You find that actually that is where your calling is, because you will be doing it out of a point of reference that is innate, not you heard or you studied it. So thank you very much for being who you are. Keep the strength. We are together, and let us keep connecting.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
To my prince, we are going to talk even straight away from here. Don't let Makakubu take that money now. Makakubu, it's me who has to submit the application first.
Absolutely. Do the chair. Absolutely.
Yes, and thank you for opening up the platform for us. Thank you so much. This has been wonderful. It's been eye-opening. We have learned, we have connected. We are people of love. We are people that connect. We are people that we don't just speak and stretch the hand for a handshake, but we connect. We speak for connection. Thank you. To Ahmad, our DJ, we are still waiting for you in South Africa.
Okay, when things open back up, I'm on my way. I promise.
Great.
Well, Princess Tshepi, you have made it very clear from the very beginning why I need to have you as a talk show host as well.
Yes, yes. We are in.
Absolutely.
We are in. Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Good. And before I go into the Guerreros That Lose video, oh, go ahead. Tibi.
Prince Tibi.
Thank you very much, Ahmad. Thanks, Princess. Thanks, Makaku. I've sent the email. Thank you very much and good evening.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Don't ship the money to Brazil, please.
We'll split it. It's okay.
Sure.
Need a lot.
Right. Thank you so much, Ahmad. Over to you, Ahmad.
Yes. I just wanted to say I wanted to touch back on something that you mentioned a little earlier as far as the passion, and this hit me yesterday when we were doing the Pan-African Youth Festival, and it came to me, it said, death comes to us all, but only the few and privileged actually really experience what true living is. So in order to truly live, you have to find your passion, and you have to live that, because that's what you were put on this earth to do. That's whatever's in your heart, that's what you're put to do. So in order to truly live your life, you have to live through your passion. Everything else is not living at all.
Could you repeat that quote that came to you, please?
Good. That was a good one.
Yes.
Death comes to us all, but only the few and privileged actually live.
Say that again, because it needs to be on record, brother. That's very, very significant. So
we need to get that in the chat so we can copy it and retweet it.
Exactly.
It came to me as,
I'm listening.
It came to me as death comes for us all, but only the few and privileged actually live.
Doing the chair, Udama Akiyo. Doing the chair. Death comes.
Okay, and with that being said, let me play the Guerreros That Lose video.
What if we took these kids and these kids and let them interact together? What if we did that with kids from all over the world? I think we can make the world a better place. Guerreros That Lose is an organization that wants to do exactly that. This organization, the idea for this organization started in 1998 when I was asked to represent the United States in a capoeira tournament in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. While I was there, I met a group of 6 kids who were homeless and living on the streets. Once they met me, they were stuck at my side, always asking questions and always happy. This really changed my life. Ever since then, I've dedicated my life to try and make this experience somebody else's experience as well. What we plan to do at Guerreros That Lose is take kids from New York, LA, Africa, Japan, all over the world, and bring them in small groups of kids to interact with other groups of kids. The headquarters is going to be on Morro de Sao Paulo, Brazil. Morro de Sao Paulo is a little island off the coast of Bahia. It's full of nature, not a whole lot of media influence. It's a great place for kids to be kids, interact with life and each other. This fundraiser is to raise money with your contributions to build the headquarters, the world headquarters on Morro de Sao Paulo. This past summer, we were donated a plot of land on the island that has already been cleared to build this cultural center. Now it's time to take the next step and actually start the building process. We have a team of people that are working with this. We have architects we have engineers, we have teachers, and if you put all of our experience together working with kids, we have over 60 years of experience. This is a great project. It's a world unity project, and it's something that we can all get together and help and share and do our part to change the planet, to change the world, because the children are the future, and we need to do something to make sure that they have a future to take care of.
Okay. Thank you. So yeah, that's my project, Guerreros a Luz, World Peace Initiative. I think it's been going on for about 20 years now. It's growing to where it's finally starting to grow to where I would actually want it to be. But since I started, I've done a lot of work with a lot of different kids. And even though it's not, the full vision hasn't come to fruition, I know that a lot of the work that I've done has actually gotten some results. So I'm really proud of that. But I also look forward to the coming years to see how much more we could do. Okay.
Put a mark to you, doing a chair.
Well done, brother. A good servant.
Do I not sure.
Thank you.
I'm back. Yeah, here we are at the scene of the Black Lives Matter sign in the incorporated village of Hempstead, one of the largest, if not the largest, in the country. Now, it's emblazoned here because of the American Spring that we've been having here. We've been having an American Spring because all groups, ethnicities are sick of the abuse that they've been witnessing for years, of the injustice that has been visited on African Americans. We are here in front of 99 Main Street, the courthouse, which is a symbol of the criminal industrial system, which judges, if you're black, you get one sentence, if you're white, you get another. So the American Spring has sprung, and we are still in the throes of a pandemic as well. So what we would like to say is we've covered the protests, and on Long Island there's been hundreds of protests. There's been hundreds of protests, and we applaud the protests, the black, the white, the Spanish, all ethnic groups who have come together to voice their displeasure with the racial white supremacy that is systematic in most of the institutions in America that was set up for white people. Let's be honest. So the question the African American Media Network has today is, after all those protests, and after all of those killings, and after all of the laws you guys got, the state of New York, Governor Cuomo, you've gotten Congress to get off of their asses and do something which was not that much. After all of that, are you guys now gonna go shopping? This is the question that the African American Media Network has for you, because all of that action now, it has to be followed with a boycott of the businesses, the corporations that systematically discriminate against you, the African American consumer. You can't have all of these Black Lives protests out here, and now here comes Thanksgiving and Black Friday, and you're out there turned up at Louis, Gucci, Fendi, Prada. You understand? It just doesn't make any sense. We all know about the glass ceiling for women at these corporations. Are all the women now, because Black Lives Matter is all, ran by and founded by African American. Are you women gonna now go shopping? Black Lives Matter needs to also target institutions that discriminate, that we spend our dollar with. So the American Spring has to continue with a focused boycott of all of these holidays and of all of these corporations who don't hire you, who don't give you contracts, and as well as who don't put you in management. We've got to go to Mercedes-Benz. We've got to go over to Land Rover. We've got to go over to these car companies that you guys, we got to go to Ferrari and Lamborghini, Jay-Z, Maybach. We've got to go to all of these corporations now and follow through with a boycott. Otherwise, all of your protesting is for nothing if you're still going to give them your money to kill you and discriminate against you. It doesn't make any sense. So this is the boycott challenge. Please go on Facebook, hashtag boycott challenge, and tell us who you feel should be boycotted. And what we also want to say, not only do you want to waste your energy with the boycott, but we want you to go find those black businesses, because we understand Jay-Z has a platform where you can find black businesses across the country where you can spend your money. So yes, the African American Media Network is retooled, refocused, and reformatted to bring you the news programs that you deserve. So what we want you to do is contact us at AAN13@optonline.net. Let us know who you're going to boycott. But we also want you to know that you need to support businesses in your community. You need to support the African American owned businesses that were hit hard with the pandemic. And in closing, we want to say one thing for sure. For God's sake, dump Trump, get him the hell out of office, because he did not just screw African Americans, he screwed white people. How did they elect this guy? He bankrupted small businesses when he built all of those institutions in Atlantic City, and you still put him in office. And he screwed all of you. So once again, the boycott challenge, email us at AAN13@optonline.net. And remember, we know that all lives matter, but black lives matter because we're the ones that have been catching hell for 400 years when you murdered the Indians in this land and you raped and you killed our women and decapitated, dismembered us when we fought. We will continue to fight. A luta continua in the American spring may continue.
Well, that's the brother that I started with. I spoke to him last night. I'm going to get him in the show to interview him. We go back 20 some odd years. And when that show comes up, I'm gonna make sure everybody is aware of it, because the message is very significant and it is a global message. It's a global message. Our people have been victimized for over 400 years. Our backs have been the support and the foundation for all of the European countries. And now with this new agreement with Sudan and Israel and the other European countries moving into Africa, including China, continuing to rape us, and there is no benefit to us whatsoever. So I want to thank you for coming on the show. Anybody want to comment on either one of those videos before we close out, please do.
I think I'm good, and it's very touching. Every time when we watch, we go back with a very new message, and we go back being aware of your current sufferings. Not that we now just seeing it on media, but it becomes very close. It becomes alive. It has a name. It has a face. So it's very sad, I think, because yeah, for any human beings, even us here, you know, Nigeria, it's influence and all that, and we are all praying for each other across the globe, for peace to reign, for human beings to be human beings, to be treated as human beings. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Ahmad, you want to take us out?
All right, I will. Thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Mr. Motivi Ramusi, Prince, it's been a pleasure to have you on. Tiah Tomlin.
Yeah, no, you did it. Yeah, you.
Also,
Thank you very much.
Princess Tshepi, it's always good to see you. It's always good to have you on, and I can't wait to
Thank you.
for more shows from y'all. This is the Jazz Lovers Television Network. It's been a great day, great show, and signing off until next time. Once we get our next show lined up, we will let you all know and look forward to seeing you in our Zoom studio audience.
And
Do that for sure.
Tiah Tomlin, thank you so much for your beautiful input today. Excellent.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
No
That's
problem.
Bye.
Great.
Do I sure
Thank you.
everybody?
Bye, everyone.
All righty.
Peace.
Good night.
Good
Okay.
night.
Bye-bye.